Thank you for staying with us. You're still watching The Breakfast on Plus TV Africa. Right now, we'll be discussing equipping prisoners with vocational skills to tackle unemployment. Post-release unemployment remains a major challenge for ex-prisoners in Nigeria, leading to a high recidivism rate and societal reintegration difficulties. Many ex-offenders face stigma and limited job opportunities, often pushing them back into criminal activities. Addressing this issue requires proactive measures within the correctional system to provide inmates with marketable vocational skills. Vocational training programs in prisons can empower inmates with skills in carpentry, tailoring, IT, agriculture, and entrepreneurship, enabling them to secure employment or start businesses after release. Such training not only help individuals achieve self-reliance, but also boost their confidence and a sense of purpose. Collaborative efforts between the government and private sector are essential to create job placements and support systems for these individuals. Rehabilitation should take center stage in Nigeria's correctional system. By investing in vocational programs, the country can lower crime rates, improve public safety, and offer ex-convicts a chance to rebuild their lives. True reintegration starts with providing job opportunities behind prison walls, paving the way for ex-prisoners to contribute positively to society. Now, joining us this morning to have a conversation on this is Toluwase Olaniyan, is the Executive Director, E.G.O Foundation. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, good morning, and thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you, and compliments of the season to you.
I'm wishing you the same. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, so we're talking about vocational skills for obviously inmates, people who have been incarcerated, and then ensuring that when they come into society, they can now, just have a sense of purpose. They can move back, rebuild their lives, and be better, really. I want to get your take on this whole initiative.
Okay, thank you so much for for this amazing question. Now, this is a conversation that is long overdue, right? It is long overdue. We should have had this process and this model put in place for a long time ago, right? This is obtainable outside Nigeria because it aids reintegration into the society when these people are done. What we have built over time is to build people. So the prisons are supposed to be correctional centers, where people get refined and become better. However, it's been just a place where we've been hardened criminals over time and over the years, which is absolutely absurd, right? So I think this conversation is long overdue, and I think we're beginning to toll the right path at this time.
So I know that, I think in E.G.O State, I saw a story that said there was a prisoner who was just released, and days after, he was committing another offense. And I'm sure, obviously, it's because most times they do not have the means to have a better life. And if they have to put food in their bellies, they would keep going to that same crime and keep being in the same correctional facilities that are really not correcting anything. And if you look at other countries, for instance, the United States of America, their correctional centers, people are learning so many things. You hear of people going in there and becoming amazing bakers. You hear of people going in there and, having amazing skills. Why do you think that for the longest time in Nigeria, our prison system hasn't just worked out this way? What are some of the challenges that we've faced so far?
Okay, so the honest truth is, in Nigeria, a lot of things have remained the way it has been for the past 50, 60 years. And we have not had proper upgrade in all of the systems. We have not had proper upgrade in so many systems. One of it is the prisons, right? So we call people who are just, left prison ex-convicts, right? And once we call them ex-convicts in Nigeria, we X them from everything and from every system, right? They're unable to find jobs. They do not have skills anymore. If they had businesses before they left, someone had left for 3 years, this person has absolutely nothing. The family doesn't want to officially relate with this person. Even if the person can't even get a proper job, right? So the most you expect from this person, as it has been, is to almost go back to what they were caught doing. Also, like I said earlier, the prisons are supposed to be correctional centers and rehabilitation centers. But the prisons that we have in Nigeria now are not even proper systems in the first place. So these guys are not rehabilitated. Nothing has been corrected about them. They are just the same way that they've gone into the prisons. And I think that we need to put a bit more energy into this. I mean, I'm very sorry to say, a lot of people do not even want to learn skills these days. And if people are in prisons, have them learn these skills. So by the time they are done with their term, they are able to come back into the system. And we lack quality artisans. Right, in Nigeria at this time, quality artisans. So it means that these people can then get reintegrated into the system and absorbed by another system to begin to then become productive going forward, right? So you can say, oh, okay, while in prisons, we're training you to be a plumber, and you go through this training for 3 years or for your term in prison. By the time you're coming out, you are a plumber, and you're a plumber for a government system more like. So the government system is able to vet you, to check your integrity, to check your mental health, your mental state, and is able to vouch for the fact that this person that was sending to you as plumber is a world character at this time. But unfortunately, that's not what we have now. What we have now is bags of people that, I mean, a bunch of people that we just call ex-convicts. We see them as criminals. Nobody's ready to take them into the system. Even the government itself is ready to take them into the system, right? So then waste high volume of human capital, right? In Africa and in Nigeria, we are always wasting. We waste a very high volume of human capital, which is quite painful. And I think that with this new model, we're beginning to redefine our human capital models. We were beginning to redefine our human capital structure, not just training them, but finding like the proper structure and the proper way to absorb them into systems to get them productive and active. Don't just train people, right? Yeah. People that are in prison that are trained, not just train people, but get people properly refined and integrated into the system so that you can find mechanics that are ready to work on your cars and do it well. Plumbers, carpenters, tilers. I mean, you'll be shocked that at some point we go to bring tilers from neighboring countries to come help us tile. Almost all the artisans that we train in mechanic, in automobile repair, generator repair, all of them are now on different streets riding Okada. Right? So we need to remodel these things and then revisit things. I
like the fact that you even spoke about, you just touched on this, which was going to lead to my next question, because one major issue that we have is stigmatization in Nigeria. So you've gone into a correctional facility, when you come out, oh, he's a criminal, he's an ex-convict. In fact, most times when you have to fill a certain form, any form at all, they always ask you, do you have a criminal record? Because you have to declare that, which is obviously great because then they know who they're dealing with. But with that being said, right, the reintegration into society, how do you think, people can support these initiatives? The government, the private sector, what can we do better? Because most people will tell you, I don't want to harbor a criminal, or I don't want to, employ someone who has a criminal record. So what way can we know that, yes, this person has maybe done something bad, but then they've gone through a correctional facility whereby they are better people now, and then we can still give them that chance, that hope to a better life?
Okay. Thank you very much. Like I always say, the government and the private sector should have a handshake on human capital development, right?
Yeah.
And the government and the private sector should also then have a handshake in terms of what the prisons look like. Run the private sector through how you run the prisons, or have a private sector collaboration in how the prisons are being run, right? And when I say have a private sector collaboration, not like expose like the profiles and the system to the private sector, but help them have like an input. So, and this is what I mean, right? When the private sector knows that, okay, these are like the basic steps, these are the things that we do in the prisons. The people who went to the prisons for this kind of crime go through rehabilitation, go through mental check, go through this, go through this, go through this. By the time they are done, in the first 6 months, they are doing this. I mean, in prisons abroad, you have the medium, you have the maximum, you have the minimum prisons. So it's to say that, okay, so at this time, this is what these people can do. At this time, this is what these people can do. At this time, this is what these people can do. And we can assure you that these people are on this level and are on this level, right? And then we can see. The private sector also can see. And that makes it reassuring and awesome. Makes it beautiful enough for them to be able to say, okay, now we're ready to absorb these people. We have a lot of engineering companies that pay per hour, they'll pay per day, and are looking for staff. They're looking for workmen every day. In fact, so someone who is an engineer, who is a civil engineer, before he went into prison, right? Are you saying by the time this person is done with term in prison, this person does not have the engineering skill again? He obviously have. So what are the processes? What are the things that are being put in place for these kind of people, right? Someone who was an accountant or had misdealings, we led him into prison and has served 5 years. Are you saying this person no longer have the accounting skill? What have you done to this person to make him a better person that can make him reabsorbed? And at what level can this person be reabsorbed? Right? Is this person coming back as an intern who is serving under somebody, being watched and being managed to ensure that a few things have changed since it's a rehabilitation center? So we need to be able to be sure of the things that are on the table. We need to be sure what the records are. We need to be sure of the processes and the systems that have been put in place. And this should be made available to the general public. Let's know the things the systems that have been put in place from the prisons, from the government. So we are then reassured to say, oh, if I'm taking a plumber from the government-owned institution who have 500 plumbers in my local government, I know that I'm taking somebody who is of worthy character and can come into my place to do this, right? The stigmatization is huge, and I totally agree. Everybody should be scared, but we need a reassuring model by the government and by the prison systems that these people are now changed people. Except they are telling us that if you hire them, is at your own detriment. Nobody wants to get involved in that way. Again, that's human capital wastage again.
I know that, with our correctional centers, we need to do a lot more. And, just piggybacking off what you just said, I know like abroad, maybe in the US, you hear of parole officers. So these are people that would tell you, okay, this person can be reintegrated into society. Maybe this was their crime, but we can vouch for them. And that way they can start to have job placements, mentorships, and, so many other things. Like you said, we should not be wasting our human capital. We have a lot of values in these people, and any way we can reintegrate them into society and be better for it, why not? Anyways, this is where we have to wrap it up right now. Toluwase, thank you so much for coming. It's been a pleasure having a conversation with you on this. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Yeah. Thank you.
Have a wonderful day. All right, so you too. All right, so we're speaking with Toluwase Olaniyan. He's the Executive Director, E.G.O Foundation, and we've just been talking about equipping prisoners with vocational skills to tackle unemployment. This is where we have to wrap it up on the show today. Thank you so much for having the breakfast with me. It's been a wonderful ride, right? This is the last Friday of 2024, but we're not ending here. We'll see you again on Monday. My name is Rume, Paulson. Thank you once again, and have an amazing day. Good morning.